Hello everybody, and welcome back. I thought I'd do a little follow-up on our Remington 783 here in that 243 caliber. We've made a few changes and adjustments which seem to have done a lot better, so I figured I'd pass that information along to you. If you've been watching some of our previous videos we've been doing on the Creedmoors, you know we've acquired a different tool to seat our bullets a little more precise on how they're aligned seating in, and of course the seating depths. We have also made some changes in our powder load a little bit to adjust for some of the stuff we're getting out of there, and we're also using a little tool here to assist our chronograph readings without interfering with the actual barrel. And this setup here is from M&K Machining. I had purchased this a while back and been using it for a little while, and I actually kind of like it. It's a little heavy, but it's pretty rigid, and I can mount this to my Arca rail, and it also mounts to a Picatinny rail, so either one. I can even use it on my ARs and stuff, and of course just adjust it as necessary. But I've got this thing cut down so it'll work on our suppressors, and I can actually mount this on there, and it doesn't touch the suppressor, it doesn't touch the barrel or anything. And that's made it kind of handy, so I don't have to worry about harmonics with some of these groups being thrown off, you know, by running that on there. This little jewel has actually been quite handy, especially with these Wilson dies. It's got the little micrometer increments on there, and I can actually set up the little top tool to get basically what I'm calling a zero. When I come up with my overall length on my chambering there, I just kind of set this guy on 0, so when I put it down on there, it's giving me pretty much a full length round, and then I can just turn this thing to the increments that I want on there, and I could load all my stuff long, and I can just adjust this little goodie as I want and change right there at the range. You know, just simply set the loaded round in there and set it there and pop it down to that depth. That's made it kind of handy for making adjustments out there while I'm doing jump tests on this thing to try to find out where it was happy. The other day we got out there, in fact I actually carried the Creedmoors out with me, and we were doing some jump tests on that 243, and I got kind of surprised on one of them. And yeah, it wasn't a total surprise. I've seen that 783 shoot groups like that before, and that one shot did kind of mess up the group and my standard deviation extreme spread numbers. But the surprising thing about that was I decided to do this jump test at 200 yards. So all the tests I did that day was at 200 yards, so that is actually a 200-yard group. So that was kind of surprising to me. And I was kind of happy, and I was looking through the scope thinking, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And I actually had to walk down there to look at the damn thing. I'm like, whoop, there it is. But hopefully we can reproduce that some more. I do want to add that all these groups and testing that we've done with this thing has been shot off a bipod and a rear bag. I have kind of homemade a rear bag rider using a piece of aluminum tube I had that kind of worked for now until I actually come up with something a little bit better. But it's been kind of handy to get that thing on a bag, sliding a little better. I've got a little bit more control over it, but I'm still, you know, putting a squeeze on the rear of that bag. The scope is good enough that I can get a good parallax setting on her, so I don't have to worry too much about getting back on sight right. I know a lot of guys like to stay on their rifle and not move their head, but the parallax is set pretty good on that thing, so I don't have to worry too much about getting back on there. I've got a fairly decent program that I'm using for these reloads. You know, I've been doing the same thing to them now. The brass actually has a few firings on them. I got them all prepped up and ready to be reloaded again, and get back out there and see if I can reproduce some of these numbers. And of course, I've got some stuff going on with our next video on this on the Creedmoors. But I was actually enjoying the weather. We've got some rainy days come through here. We get a day or two a week that I can actually get out there and do some shooting. So I just try to get prepped up to make sure I'm back out at it. But our reloading stuff has been really paying off. I try to, like I said, I try to do the same thing every time. You know, I'm annealing the brass, trimming the brass, sizing the brass. But I have noticed that when I did the insides of the necks, I don't know if you want to check out that video, and I'll try to see if I can drop a little link to that up there. But that I'm rather pleased with those results. I had to do a little monkeying around to get after what I was actually trying to get after with that tool. Supposedly they're using those just for donuts, removing donuts from those things. But I actually wanted to try to remove some of the metal from the whole entire necks, because they were just as out around as the outsides were, you know, when we trimmed the outside. So I wanted to make sure I got the insides trimmed as well, and that seemed to work pretty good. The results are showing up pretty good with this thing. I can actually tell now the difference between those different seating tensions I'm getting with this thing and how well it performs. Since the necks are working better now, I actually had to back off the powder load, come off 0.2 2/10 of a grain off that powder load to get back into my node, and bingo, there it was. I know there's been quite a few of y'all have been following along with that 783 build. Kind of curious to where they went, and I just wanted to post this video out here to kind of do a little follow-up update with that thing, let you know what I have achieved with that thing. The project overall has been rather interesting, and I'm glad they're making more and more stuff for that 783. I always liked Remingtons, and I know that wasn't the best one to buy, but as you can see, we've had some pretty good results out of that thing, even though we had to change everything on it. One of these days, maybe somebody will make a nice trigger for that thing. But we've got another video coming out next time with the Creedmoors and those factory precision rifles. I still need to do another session with that 6.5 Creedmoor. I've been running into some issues. It's probably due to the bullet weight I chose. But we'll keep you posted if anything else happens with this Remington, and we'll catch you next time.